It started with a text that didn't sit right. Dinner ran late. Don't wait up, my wife Lena wrote at 10:47 p.m. Something in the phrasing, it wasn't her. Too formal, too careful. The kind of message you write when someone's watching over your shoulder. I stared at the screen, the blue light reflecting off the whiskey glass in my hand, and my gut twisted. She worked for a man named Adrian Holt, a name people whispered with a mix of admiration and fear. He was one of those high-powered executives who filled a room the moment he stepped into it. Tall, self-assured, every word deliberate. Lena had started her new position as his executive assistant 3 months ago, and ever since, something had been off. First, I told myself it was stress. Long hours. High expectations. Corporate culture. But then came the phone calls that she'd take outside. The late nights she brushed off. The scent of cologne that wasn't mine clinging faintly to her hair when she came home. That night I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, replaying every conversation we'd had over the last few weeks. Every detail suddenly felt suspicious, like I was piecing together a puzzle I hadn't realized existed. When she came home just after midnight, she looked nervous. Her eyes darted to me on the couch, then to the floor. "You're still up?" she asked softly. "Couldn't sleep," I said. "How was dinner?" She hesitated. "It was fine. Adrian wanted to discuss a project privately." I took a slow sip of my drink. "Privately?" She nodded, setting her purse down. "It's how he operates." Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl. 4 days after, I tried to shake the unease. But the tension grew heavier. Lena's phone was always locked now. Her laughter over text came less often. She avoided my eyes when I asked how work was going. One evening, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the counter. The name Adrian Holt flashed across the screen. Then it disappeared. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. The knot in my chest tightened until it hurt to breathe. The next day I followed her. I told myself it wasn't distrust. It was confirmation. I needed to see it for myself, whatever it was. She met him at a high-end restaurant downtown. I watched from across the street, heart pounding as they sat close together, their conversation animated. He leaned in too far, too familiar. She laughed, brushing her hair behind her ear, and his hand lingered on the table, just inches from hers. That was enough. I didn't confront her. Not yet. That night when she came home, I acted normal. Made her tea. Asked about her day. Pretended everything was fine. Because I needed time. Time to think, to plan. 3 days later she broke. We were sitting at the kitchen table when she said, "Adrian's been making me uncomfortable." Her voice trembled, but her eyes, those eyes I'd loved for 10 years, held shame. "What do you mean?" I asked carefully. "He's been crossing lines. Saying things. Touching me when no one's looking." She swallowed hard. "I didn't tell you because I didn't want to make it worse. He's powerful, Ethan. If I push back too hard, I could lose my job." Anger flared inside me, cold and sharp. "Has he?" "No," she said quickly. "I stopped it before it went that far. But he won't let up." I reached across the table, taking her hand. "Then we make sure he regrets ever trying." The next few days we gathered evidence. Lena started recording their conversations on her phone. We documented every message, every inappropriate comment. Adrian had grown careless, cocky even. He thought he owned her. One night, after another late meeting, Lena came home pale and shaking. "He invited me to his penthouse," she whispered. "Said he wanted to celebrate my dedication. That was the last straw." We made a plan. Lena would go, wearing a discreet recording device I set up. I'd wait nearby. Every word, every touch would be captured. If he crossed the line again, his empire would burn. When she arrived at his penthouse, I watched from the street, heart hammering. The lights were dim through the massive windows. I could see their shadows moving across the room. His posture was predatory, leaning in, circling her like she was prey. Then I heard it through the feed. "You've been leading me on," Adrian said. his voice low and smug. "Don't act like you didn't want this." "Stop," Lena said firmly. "You think your husband can give you what I can," he sneered. "Money, power, security. He's nothing compared to me." That was all I needed. I'd already prepared a secure drive filled with his emails, company data, and the recordings Lena had collected. Months earlier, when Adrian had mocked me during a company dinner, I'd started digging into his background. Turns out, beneath his polished image, he'd been embezzling funds and coercing employees for years. When Lena walked out of that penthouse, I was waiting at the curb. She climbed into the car, tears in her eyes, but her jaw set like steel. "Did you get it?" "Yes." She nodded. "Every word." We didn't go home. We drove straight to a journalist I knew, a woman who'd been waiting for someone to bring her proof of Adrian Holt's corruption. Within 48 hours, the story exploded. Finance tycoon accused of harassment and fraud. The recordings, the financial evidence, it was all there. His investors fled. His board members resigned. By the end of the week, his empire was in ruins. Lena's name wasn't in the article. She didn't want fame or revenge for herself. She just wanted peace. Adrian tried to call her once more. Desperate voicemail. "You'll regret this," he said. "You don't know who you're dealing with." He was wrong. A month later, his company folded. He lost everything. His penthouse, his power, his carefully crafted reputation. And we watched from a distance, silent. One evening, Lena sat beside me on the porch, her hand slipping into mine. The sunset painted her face in soft orange light, and for the first time in months, she looked free. "Do you ever feel guilty?" she asked quietly. Thought about it. About the man who'd tried to destroy her. The nights she came home afraid. The pain we'd both carried. "No," I said. "He built his empire on fear. All we did was show the world what it really looked like." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I still can't believe it's over." "It's not over," I said. "It's just the part where we start again." And as the last light of day faded, I realized something. Revenge hadn't just broken Adrian, it had healed us. It reminded us that no matter how powerful someone thinks they are, truth and love, when tested, can still burn hotter than greed ever could.